All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the Vampire Coast led by Alexander Nuts facing off against Anticity, who's going to be playing Slaanesh here on Otsuchi Castle. And not actually terrible for Coast in some ways, because the edge of the map is fairly close to Objective 1, so maybe you kind of line your army up, deny the flanks a little bit using the edge of the map, and then slow push towards Objective 2, but... yeah, man, playing Anticity on Slaanesh is like so brutal. I've had the pleasure of running into him in a couple tournaments of Slaanesh in the past like 6 months, and it is very, very hard to beat. So we will see how this goes. Alexander Big Nuts. Front line's going to be zombies backed up by bomber mobs to clear out chaff. Handgun mobs to put pressure down. Very, very, I mean, it's his way of playing Coast. He pretty much plays his style almost in every matchup. He's got Celostra with a Tide Call and the Crab Summon, a gun line, bombers, handguns, and just a ton of chaff units. And it works pretty damn well for him. For Anticity's army here, it's going to be Slangors, which again are excellent at killing zombies, but will be very vulnerable against bombers as well as missile fire. Hellstriders in the wings, Forsaken, and it is going to be an Exalted Keeper of Secrets of Slaanesh with Pavane, Acquiescence, and Seductive Glory for the Rampage. But yes, that is going to be that. Morngul's being called in. Morngul's also a good choice here. Weak to Hellstriders, but good against all the infantry. They counter Forsaken, they counter Slangors, and I would imagine that Alexander will be calling out mostly Morngul's here for the first couple minutes of the game to deal with the Forsaken and Slangor presence on the field. And as far as like the Hellstriders go, you can obviously shoot at them, but targeting them with like trash zombies is what you want to be doing if you can. Forsaken being called out. We'll do a little bit of fast forwarding because there's going to be some posturing here. Anticity doing his classic surround where he gets all the way around you here. So Slangors and Forsaken going to be chilling out while the Undead army does move forth and is going to be contesting the objective. Now Alexander isn't like super vulnerable to the surround. It will cut off reinforcements, but he does have a really safe deployment point out here. And he also has the gun, so if Ent gets too close, he can't punish him. And right there, you see a little bit of powder fire going down on the Exalted Keeper of Secrets, taking some HP off, while the handgun mob is going to be advancing out, trying to bait him in. And this is going to be like a powder keg of a game. It's going to be calm, and then suddenly the Slaanesh army is just going to pounce on them, and we're going to find out how that game goes within like a minute or two. Hellstrider's thinking about moving in. And there are going to be some pistol mobs at the ready. The handgunners could probably just turn and shoot, honestly. And some of the pistol mobs do turn and return the favor while Morngul's are out. So on this point, cost-effective trading, the Slangors are going to be getting melted, and the bomber mobs are at the ready to just obliterate them if they move in. So I would imagine Alexander, depending on his micro, will be able to move in and do some big damage there. But looking in the backfield, this is really the epicenter of combat. As the Exalted Keeper of Secrets and the Slangors waiting in the wings, couple pistol mobs lurking as well, and we do see the Forsaken on the old run. All right, guys, here comes the Champions of Chaos. Pistol mobs, or handgun mobs, shooting into Hellstriders. Now, these are the anti-large Hellstriders. They're really bad at killing infantry. So they're going to just move into these halberds, lose half HP right there. Pretty cost-effective. Bomber mobs, though, have a little bit of a faulty ordering. The way he moved in, he does get a volley off there, able to hit those Slangors. Kind of a little bit more friendly fire damage, but Anticity kind of giving up on the surround, looking like he's going to be wheeling his army around to do like a frontal engagement. We do see the Rotting Prometheans called out and the Damn Knights Errant. So Homie's calling out all the big guns here, and the Damn Knights Errant will be very nice at fighting the Hellstriders, and they do engage versus those bad boys there. While the Bomber mob's doing excellent damage, really obliterating these Slangors. While on the wings, the handgun mob's doing some good damage into the Hellstriders, and the Forsaken going to be piling in to start ripping through these guys. But so far, Vampire Coast is doing very, very well in the value trading. Has been able to keep Anticity's army in check. The Morngul's getting cost-effective fights as well, getting on top of the Slangors, which are a 700 gold unit, and they're able to slap them back to the Shadow Realm, so those guys are going to be forced back. And in the middle, we have Devoted Marauders and Forsaken holding it down. Anticity does have a massive points lead, obviously. The Vampire army is incredibly slow, so he was able to get there. His Depth Guard polearms are going to be getting called out now. And the Slangor is trying to grind through the point while Furies are diving on the Bomber mobs. A couple of cost-effective fights for Anticity here. It does seem like some of the formations of Coast are getting a little bit tattered, as the Bomber mob is isolated. The Halberd mob going to be torn up here as well. We do see the Damn Knights Errant moving in, trying to intercept, while the Hell Scourges, which are much better against infantry, are getting on top of the handgun mob. So it's a messy knockdown, drag-out fight, man. And one thing about the Coast playstyle here is it is a build that kind of blows its load. It drops all its summons and uses all its magic and abilities, and then it can kind of not peter out, but it gets weaker. It certainly gets a little bit weaker there. Handgun mobs trying to form up while Halberd's coming over to try and screen out those Hellstriders. Forsaken winning their fight there. On the middle, objective still is owned by Slaanesh, but Vampire Coast is getting the Morngul grind on, and the Crab Summon's doing well. Anticity doing a rotate. He loves doing this. Going to be disengaging from this point here and using all of his super high 55 movement speed, 51 movement speed infantry to come across and try and overwhelm the Vampire Coast position here. But the Vampire Coast holding on, very, very stalwart. On the backfield, Hellstriders eating a lot of firepower. And Scurvy Dogs are going to be used. Scurvy Dogs are excellent against anti-large Hellstriders because they're infantry size, so they do very well in that trade there. More Hellstriders getting bullied here, but Anticity looks like he is going to be re-securing a triple cap. Nope, but he actually loses the middle in the process. The Morgul Death Star able to do quite well, while the Slangors and company trying to hold it down. But the handgun mobs and the Morguls doing quite a bit of work this game. One thing is, Celestra, though, not going to be as much of a late-game carry. That is one thing. As the game goes on longer, we could see the Greater Demon, which is very healthy. Anticity doing a very good job keeping his Lord alive. Is going to be hard to fold up. Death Guard polearms, cruise it in to try and help out a little bit, while we do see the zombie pirates and the scurvy dogs here chewing on these guys and getting her done. All right, on the backside, what do we see? More Hellstriders coming out. The classic mid-game reinforcement piece. But the halberds, bomber mobs, and handgun mobs securing objective number 2. And now the Vampire Coast in a fight for its life over here, but so far holding on. Celestra is rampaged by Seductive Glory, but, you know, she's not tanky, but losing her isn't the end of the world. You can kind of just resummon her. And she does have some bodyguard. This is an opportunity. I was just praising Anticity for keeping his Lord in such good health, but that could change right now, as we do see the Exalted Keeper of Secrets taking quite a bit of damage and losing about 30% of its HP. While the Undead surge forth, Morgul Night Terrors tearing up the Forsaken. Handgun mobs over here shooting into the Forsaken there as well, as more Morguls are called out. Big value lead for Alexander Big Nuts. As on the other side, we do see Alexander going for the triple cap. Is this greedy? You know, splitting up your army and trying to go for a triple cap against Slaanesh? I think it is. I think you got to consolidate on where you're strong and then play the very, very late game. Because if you move like this, it's going to let Ent, you know, isolate these things, and then he loses capture weight here, maybe in danger of losing that objective that he had. You guys get the idea. So Morguls are ripping it up. More Morguls here doing well. Zombies are cruising. Big, big value lead. And Anticity's Lord kind of going to the dogs a little bit. Looking a little bit rough here as it's unstable. And that's the thing about those big Demon Lords, man. If they go unstable, they lose a lot of HP. So Alexander sending out dickhand mobs to the outside. So a halberd unit as well as a regular one. And that objective is going to be flipping. Meanwhile, this objective is going to be going to Vampire Coast most likely. Morguls will hard counter those Slangors very, very well. They will take them down to Pound Town. And it's very much playing a game that's going to be trying to win on objectives. He's going to probably keep his demon alive and use his mobility to bounce between points and just deny the triple cap and then win on one at the end. Because obviously Alexander winning the value trading very, very effectively here, really showing his prowess here with the Vampire Coast. Morgul's nibbling on the Slangors, and back here, Celestra and company are pretty nasty. I mean, it's a lot of Haggard gunnery mobs, but they have Morgul support as well. Scurvy dogs chasing down those Furies here, while a little bit of capture weight was there for the coast, but looks like these dickhand mobs are going to be on their way over. And is Ent going to play this objective, waiting for Coast to maybe rotate over towards objective 3, and then he like crashes down on this side? Could be, but yeah, Coast needs to get an objective and stop the bleeding, man. It's just, they're just like hemorrhaging value right now, and he's moving like maybe another Morgul over here. These Slangors are going to be a problem. They're going to really cut up those zombie pirate gunnery mobs, and we do see the blob heading over towards objective 2. Meanwhile, the dickhand mobs are coming, but there are Slangors as well as Hellstriders, and another Hellstrider here, none of which is going to be exceptionally good against these guys. The Hellscourges will, and obviously the Greater Demon will be quite nice. But guys, the aquatics coming into play. These are like, this is like shallow water here, so the aquatics is actually relevant. These guys are not going to be penalized for fighting in shallow water, which is pretty funny. And Vampire Coast gets objective number 1, it looks like. Yeah, the Morgul's able to clean up. A couple gunnery mobs helping. They do get objective 2 as well. But now the question is, are you going to be able to wrestle objective 3 from the claws of the Kraken King here? He's got his Slaanesh claws ready to go. Zombies moving up, and there are more zombies coming. He's just probably going to be sending wave and wave of zombies while the big reinforcements waddling across from this side. Slaucer's probably out of steam, although Tide Calls are probably still on the table. Slangors here. Are they winning this fight? Morguls look like they're going to chew him up with a couple of gun mobs. Oh, he hasn't gotten this objective yet. Oh, no. Oh, man, if the game's close at all, this is the reason why he lost. Oh, man, him not getting that objective is so devastating. And he's got all this capture weight right here. They should have just moved up on the point. Ooh, that could have been a throw from Alexander Big Nuts. We'll have to see. All right, Zombie Pirate, Halberds fighting. Celestra moving in against Hellstriders with Depth Guard polearms. Going to be a nasty unit. You're going to need to leave a little bit to defend all these objectives against Slaanesh. And why is he not moving these guys on the objective? Man, that's so much capture weight. That's like 15 capture weight. Who would have had this objective like, 30 seconds ago, if not longer? All right, Morguls come in, clean those guys off. It's going to flip to him now, but is that going to cost them? I mean, if it's a close game, then we know the reason there. Halberds and zombies moving, but being intercepted by the heretics of Slaanesh. As the Death Guard do make their way over, that's going to be 5 capture weight plus 3, but Slaanesh does have a lot there. And Anticity has really good micro. He's going to be able to bounce around the outsides of the objective and really, really be a trash goblin there and be very difficult to deal with. Hellstriders getting chewed on up, and yeah, pistol mobs heading over to the middle. I would honestly probably just leave them between these two objectives because they're not going to make it here in time, and use them to make sure you don't get capped. And everything else that's fast needs to start playing this point. Oh, I love the late game Pleasure Seeker call in. That's going to be devastating. Sure, Depth Guard are good against them, but if they're not like braced and they get charged, they could just get their source code deleted right now, which I think is what's going to happen. So the Depth Guard get in, and they're about to be deleted from the game. Oh, that's going to be some damage. Although kind of a bit of a limp charge. Gets in there and ends up doing some work in the end. Zombies trying their best to get there. Another Depth Guard polearm. Alexander has a little bit of time left. Ent not playing the outside here, but oh man, Alexander, dude, he's got to leave something here. Ent is going to see this, save up, and yeah, he's going to come and get this point. That's what's going to cost him in the end, I bet, because he's so close here. This objective is flipping, but yeah, like leaving the pistols between the two objectives and adjusting here would be big. Morngulls are coming back, and is he going to be calling in Scurvy Dogs to try and clear that out? Pistol mobs are now waddling back that way, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Halberds fighting. Lots of zombies are here. Depth Guard with polearms are chewing through these bad boys, so the Pleasure Seekers and Hellstriders are getting at that objective in the process of flipping. Over here, Morngulls coming. Pistol mobs, they should be able to save that, but it's going to be dodgy. And he does have 2 more zombies coming over here to hold down objective 2, although is that going to end up being a mistake? Should those zombies have come here? Probably so, actually, looking at the state of the battle, because he has a lot of capture weight here. The guns shooting, Scurvy Dogs are on their way in, and that objective is going to be flipping to the Vampire Coast. So now it's basically up to Anticity to try and gremlin one objective back. And we do see a little bit of weakness here. Hellstriders are coming, but with the gun mobs kind of serving as an in-between, he probably send one of these dickhand mobs over here. And is he going to be able to hold on this point? Hard to say. Celestra is going to get Pavaned right here, which will probably finish her. Narcissism or something, Crumbling is there. And the Pleasure Seekers do get karate chopped, actually. They do. Morngul's about to get attacked by the Hellstriders, but there are some handguns coming in to support. Alexander does have the triple cap on Anticity here. Pleasure Seekers are worn down, 1440 points, and there's still a lot of time left. There's a lot of time, and the Greater Demon could definitely make some plays. Scurvy Dogs and Scurvy Dogs fighting versus Pleasure Seekers. Depth Guard polearms there are going to be incredibly tough to break. Looks like Ent is going to rotate everything up towards Objective 1, try and get that. And we do see dickhand mobs coming out, but it is going to be a minute before they get there. And that's where like the mistake of not sending the Halberd over there could come back to bite him. It's going to be a lot of capture weight. These zombies need to get on this objective right now. They need to move up and get the capture weight, or else it's going to be GG, basically. All right, so the zombies are moving over here. On the backside, Hell Scourges are cruising. That's, ooh, what a brilliant play. That's Pavane, and if he rampages those guys away from the objective, Anticity might be able to get this. It looks like he's probably going to, yeah. So the Hellstrider's coming out. Lots of zombies are shambling over here. And, I mean, Alexander still has some time to try and get the objective back. Did they get up on it? They didn't. Oh, Narcissism, so good. Narcissistic zombies is a bit of an interesting idea, but we don't ask questions around here. Anticity gets the objective. Slangors come in, and, oh boy, that's GG. So honestly, really well played to both players. Alexander fought one of the strongest players in the world and one of the strongest factions and was almost able to win that game. And Anticity fought from behind. He lost a lot of the engagements, but still played the objective super well and had just brilliant decision-making. That game, I think, was Alexander's to lose. I think he had it in the bag. I just think the way he partitioned some of his units at the end and kind of abandoned the side objectives gave Anticity, the opportunity to snipe it. But yeah, GG, well played regardless. Really, really fun match. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Looking at Slaanesh did pretty good. I would imagine the handguns got some okay value. Nothing too crazy. The Lord, 1800. And Pleasure Seekers only got 15. They didn't get their value back there, but they tried. Slangors are so good in that matchup, by the way. So freaking good. 1200, 1100, and that one got bomber mobbed, I think. All right, guys. See you around. Take care of yourselves. Well played, Alexander and Ent. We'll see you guys with some tournaments soon. Cheers.